For the next 3 days and 2 nights, I'm going to be camping out in the wild with very limited gear, using a tiny survival kit that I put together myself in an Altoids tin. I'll have to depend on the contents of this kit to make a fire, construct a shelter, get clean drinking water, and acquire food. We're going to be doing some fishing and some foraging, and I'm going to have to find ways to stay warm for the cold nights ahead, encountering some wildlife along the way, wanted and unwanted. So join me as I venture out into the wild and rugged foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. I'm not bringing any food, not bringing any water, so it's going to be whatever the land provides. Other than a little bit of rain, I don't think the weather's supposed to get too bad next couple of days, which is unfortunate. Always makes things a little more interesting. It's a beautiful time of year. Everything's vibrant green. Bumpy road. A little bit of a drop off here. Starting to drizzle a little bit. If anybody lost a boot, here it is. Looks like I've come to the end of my road. Park right here. It's a chilly 56 degrees. I got my camera gear in this pack, camera tripod, walking stick, and this is my survival kit. And once I get out there, I'll show you what all I have in here. I'm gonna get hydrated before I go. Let's head out. So I'm just going to follow this road for a little while, cut into the woods, and then hike a little farther. There's a little newt. They're loving this wet weather. Well, this looks like a good place to start walking in. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I have in my survival kit. I have this duct tape around it so it doesn't open. Plus I can use duct tape for all kinds of different things. Got all kinds of goodies in here. We have more duct tape, a utility blade here. This will be my knife, so I'll pull that down a little more. 2 sewing needles. The ends are magnetized so that I can use that as a compass if I ever need to. Put it on a leaf in some water, show me which way is north. I have some bank line here, which I can use for lots of different things. Some iodine tablets, all wrapped up in this plastic bag. And then here, I have a Mylar survival space blanket. I have it vacuum sealed so that it's more compact and fits in the tin better. A little fishing kit here. Fishing line, some hooks, some flies, some little split shots. And this is a Mylar bag that I use to store freeze-dried food. It's folded up, and this will be my water container. And next we have a ferrocerium rod for starting fires, utility blade as a striker, cotton pad soaked in wax for a fire starter, some more duct tape, and underneath of this duct tape we have some utility cord. All kinds of uses for that. That's all I have to survive for the next couple nights, other than the clothes on my back and the stuff I have in my camera bag. There we go. So in the camera bag, I have my drone controller, some work lights, battery pack, and this is also a light and a radio. More battery packs, case for my phone in case it starts raining, charging cables, headlamp. What else we got in here? Another headlamp, USB drives, and a trail camera, just to see what kind of creatures are lurking around at night, if any. And that's it. So, should be fun, should be interesting. I'm going to do some foraging on my way in here. For example, I might need bug repellent. There's a lot of it here, all around here. You might ask, what do I mean by that? This is yarrow. Crush this up, rub it on your skin and your clothes. Does a pretty good job of keeping the bugs away. So I'm going to gather a bunch of this. And it smells really good too. So you have the added benefit of smelling nice. Fresh, almost pine-like aroma. We got this pine tree here. Check this out. I will have absolutely no problem getting a fire started tonight. It's been injured. When the pine is injured, the tree will pump this resin to seal out any infections. And this resin happens to be highly flammable. It's good for cuts and scrapes too. If you get cut, you can rub this resin on it. It'll keep infections out. Kind of like liquid bandage. Oh, this is old and dried up, but it'll still be flammable. Cool. Stocking up on supplies. Hey, look at that. The porcupine. Hello. What are you up to? Just hanging out. All right, I'll leave you alone. This is dogbane here. Old stalks from last year. This makes some of the best cordage from natural materials, at least around here. Very strong, stringy fibers. Peel off the outer layer, twist it into cordage. So that's good to know. If I need more cordage, I can come back and get this dogbane that's growing all through this field. Also watching for snakes as I go. There are some timber rattlers around here. Follow this trail for a little while, see where it takes me. Oh, here's the creek. I'm just going to keep walking upstream, see if I can find some good spots to fish for trout. Maybe do a little fishing. Wet a line, as they say. Tons of places to camp here, so that shouldn't be an issue. Finding a place to camp out for the night. I want to be close to the creek, so I have a water source and a food source close by. There's some birch bark. Makes good tinder. I like to gather this stuff when I find it, because where I'm headed, I might not find any birch bark or pines or whatever else I need. The smell here is just glorious. Fresh, woodsy aroma. Love being out here. Now this looks like a good trout hole. So that's some pretty deep water there. So this looks pretty good in here too. I have line, now I just need to find a rod. That looks good. I'll just trim this up. There we go. There's my fishing rod. Fairly flexible, shouldn't break. It's not like I'm catching huge muskie or anything. And I'll just tie my line on the end of it and get my fishing kit out of here. I don't have bait right now. I do have some flies in here though, which might catch me something. If not, I'm gonna have to look for some worms. Got some 4-pound test here. There'll be plenty for these trout. I'm not gonna need all this line, so I'll cut some. And I'll probably let out about 6 or 7 feet of line. And we'll try this woolly bugger. I'll add some weight to this. There we go. Let's do some fishing. Food is not a #1 priority, but I don't like to go hungry. And I need some energy. I haven't eaten in a while. Shelter, I can set up that pretty quickly. Anywhere around here, really. Plenty of water around me, so I'll be good to go. No bites so far. Might have to try some live bait. They don't want the woolly bugger, apparently. See if there's anything under this log. It's kind of hit or miss with woolly buggers. Sometimes I do good with them, sometimes I don't get a single bite. Small worm there. Oh, yeah. That's what we're looking for. We're good to go now. Good juicy worms. Took the woolly bugger off and I tied a hook on. Cover up as much of that hook as I can. I'm really hoping there's some trout in here that are hungry, like I am. Check it out. Whew. We're not going to go hungry tonight. Nice brook trout. I'm going to use this branch as a stringer. That's one trout so far. Cool. Let's see if we can catch some more. Apparently they want worms today, so that's what we're going to give them. Throw this on the hook, try again. Just casting it upstream, let it drift right into that deep. First cast with the worm, caught something. Now I'm not getting any bites. I try a different spot upstream. The deep spot is kind of far out there. Might have to do some wading. I don't care if my pants get wet, just don't want my boots to fill up. Got one. Get him the shore. Oh. Whew. Nice one. That's awesome. Another nice trout we're going to throw on the stringer. The fish are biting, and that's what we want. Lost my worm on that one too, so we're going to have to find a new worm. This sand feels a lot better on the feet. This one will work. Another one. So that is 3 trout. That should be enough for a meal tonight. Getting kind of late, so probably find a place to set up camp. I'm gonna have to dry my socks out over the fire later. Gotta get these trout cleaned up. So this is a job for the utility blade. Just gonna make a handle for this real quick so I don't cut myself. Should be good enough. Cut up the middle of it. I'm gonna make a V cut under the gills and cut that connector piece and open it up. Everything should pull right out of it. Then we're left with the kidney. And then I'll just scrape it out of there and I'll give it a rinse. 1 cleaned trout. Now we'll do the rest. Starting to drizzle a little bit again. It's getting a little chilly out here. A little breezy, but it is nice. I'm not complaining. It's been real warm this spring. A little too warm some days. This is cinnamon fern. Some people confuse this with ostrich fern. You can eat ostrich fern fiddleheads. It's early in the spring when they first start growing. The only problem is I don't find too much ostrich fern around here. Ton of cinnamon fern, wood fern, bracken fern, not too much ostrich fern. So it's pretty steep on this side, so I gotta cross over to that side. Put these back on. Another newt. Oh, there's a bunch of them here. Oop, hey, there's another one. So I'm liking these big rocks over here. It just looks so inviting. Got this little stream right here, but over here looks really dry. So I'll set up my shelter real quick and gather some kindling and firewood. I can just make a lean-to shelter against this rock, and ground's fairly soft because all these hemlock needles on the ground. Hang these fish up for now. Grab some of this. Not very big, but I have to do. I mean, what I could do is just wrap myself in it. Or I could make a lean-to with it. Not sure if it's supposed to rain much tonight or not. These do reflect your body heat back towards you pretty well. So that'll keep me a little warm tonight. But they're not insulated, so it's not going to be real warm. So I'm going to use this as a tarp. This is going to be the roof of my shelter in case it does rain. So I'm going to make some grommets with this duct tape, some reinforced corners. This will be an attachment point for my line. Should be all I need. And I'll do the same thing at the other corner. I'll do two in the middle. One here and then one here. So now I need to attach these bottom corners. So I'm going to make a tie-out point on this corner. Another tie-out point here. Now I'll give you the virtual tour. Here's the sleeping area. That's about it. $250,000 or best offer. Or maybe I'll rent it out. I haven't decided yet. It's a little rough around the edges, but nothing a little sweat equity can't fix. This is a prime piece of real estate. Look at all this beauty. Waterfront property. A little babbling brook flowing through the front yard. This hemlock kindling burns really good. I'll get some of the birch bark I gathered earlier and my pine resin. I need really good tinder because of a very small ferrocerium rod to use and everything is soaking wet. Now, I do have this cotton soaked with wax, but I shouldn't need that, so I'm just going to save that for when I do need it. I just need something that's going to take the spark, turn it into a flame. So I'll just scrape tiny shavings of this birch bark. There we go. Ah, we almost had it. There we go. I'll put this chunk of resin on. We have fire. Gonna let this flame die down a little bit and just cook them over the hot coals. Wish I had some seasoning. It's getting chilly out here. The skin will protect the meat from burning. I'm pretty excited to eat, not gonna lie. Even without any seasoning, that is good. Let's dig in, shall we? Good and smoky, a little charred on the outside, a few bones. After this, definitely going to need some water. So let's dip into our survival kit, get the Mylar bag and the iodine tabs. I cut some off so that it would fit into the tin better. Now I use a Mylar bag because in case I run out of water tablets, I can boil water in this. Just fill it up and drop some hot rocks in there. Now we wait. Get warmed up. So I put some rocks on the fire. I'm going to heat them up and they're going to go in my shelter with me. Keep me nice and warm. It's not real cold, but just a little chilly. And it's only going to get colder as the night goes on, so I add another one. Those rocks will retain heat for hours. Kind of splash that around to get the sides too. Yummy. It's not the best tasting iodine water, but it'll do. Well, it's getting late and I'm getting tired. I think I'm going to go to bed. These rocks are good and hot. I'll roll them into my shelter. Feels warmer in there already. This is not the most comfortable bed I've ever had, but the ground's pretty soft, so it's actually not bad. Those hot rocks are keeping my back nice and toasty. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so I do want to get that out of here. I'm not a real big fan of these things. I heard something walking around out there. Not sure what it was. Morning. Got chilly. Well, it wasn't the best sleep of my night. It wasn't the best night of sleep in my life. Wasn't the worst. I'm going to go for a little hike and get warmed up. That's what I'm going to do. Let's get the blood flowing. Those hot rocks kept me warm for a while, till they cooled down toward morning. Maybe we'll do some foraging, a little more fishing. Reishi. Very medicinal mushroom. Anti-inflammatory. You can make a tincture with it. I might actually get that, take it home with me when I leave. So I definitely don't recommend the Altoids kit for cold weather. There's primitive ways to stay warm, but it's a lot of work. Just bring the proper gear. Found some wood nettle. You can see the tiny needles on it. It's just like stinging nettle, but a little different. Not as many stingers. When you cook these, it deactivates the stingers. Pinch the stems very carefully. I'm going to gather some of this. It's a very nutritious plant. I just grab the stem real tight and up, and usually don't get stung that way. But when it brushes up against the back of my hand, that doesn't feel too good. We'll cook some of this up later. I'm gonna grab my fishing rod. We're gonna do some more fishing. Let's see if I can find any more worms. Nothing here. Not seeing anything. There's got to be a worm under one of these rocks. There we go. Got him. And here's a shotgun shell. How about that? Now I can use this, put my worms in. Little acorn cap. There. So there's my worm container. I just came out to the road. This is the section of the creek that flows near the road. There's a nice deep hole here I can fish. Should be some trout in there. See what we can catch. Oh no, I got my worm. We got a worm thief on our hands. I'm gonna catch that one and cook them. It's all right, let's give them a big juicy worm. See how they like that. Got one. They wanted the juicy worm. Awesome. Beautiful. You little worm thief. Nice one too. Another brook trout. Hooked them good. Another good sized trout there. They seem to have stopped biting in this spot. We're going to move on. It's a deeper spot here. Over by those fallen trees. Nothing. Beaver chewings. So this is looking good here. Looking real good. Kind of fast moving, but there's some deep spots in there. I have a good feeling about this spot. We got one. This one's fighting hard. Another nice brook trout. I'm constantly having to check myself for ticks out here. These small ones are so hard to see. There's a little stream over there I want to gather some water from. These sharp rocks don't feel too good. Woo! This water's way colder. That is some good looking water. And let it stew. I'm going to try this spot again. This one's kind of small. I already have 3. I'm going to let that one go. Today's bounty. So I'm going to clean these up, take these back to camp, cook them up. Another night of not going hungry. That's always a good thing, because I like to eat. Hey, there's some more yarrow. Perfect, because I'm starting to get attacked by bugs. Wow, I almost forgot what color the sky was. And there's the sun. I haven't seen that in a while. It's been overcast for so long. Back to the campsite we go. This time, to get a fire going, I'm going to use the cotton soaked with wax. Make my life a little easier, even though things are a lot more dry today. Birch bark I gathered earlier. Just going to expose those fibers and give that a spark. Should light right up. This isn't the best scraper in the world, but it does work. I'll put these rocks back on the fire. I'm going to need these rocks again tonight. They're going to get cold again. A nice piece of cherry wood I found over there from a fallen tree. And I'm going to do something a little different with this space blanket. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to dig a trench. Later on I'm going to fill that up with hot rocks, put a little bit of dirt over top of it, and then put the space blanket on top of that. I don't think it's supposed to rain tonight, so I might not need it over me. It'll be a moisture barrier. So the hot rocks will make steam. Steam will come up from the ground and get me all wet if I don't have a barrier. Yeah, I'm just going to dig a trench here. A little easier said than done using a stick. Should be good. We'll fill that up with hot rocks later. I'm going to make a little grill here. And stuff these trout with some nettle. And the rest of this I'll just put by the fire. I do love trout, but I could really go for a steak with onions, mushrooms, side of mashed potatoes with gravy, or even a burger. That sounds great too. Chicken Alfredo, lasagna, buttery pierogies. Then a nice dessert, like maybe some apple crisp with some ice cream. The hunger's getting to me. Once I eat this trout, I'll stop thinking about food. I hope. The trout are done. Good stuff. Sun's going down. It's getting chilly again. These rocks are hot enough, so glowing red. So we're going to roll them over to the bed. The bigger the rock, the longer it's going to retain heat. So this one will put off heat for a long time. Look at that rock, red hot. Give that one a minute to cool down. Another thing you can do is bury hot coals in a similar way, but you'd have to bury them a lot deeper than you would rocks. That's for more extreme cold. Using rocks is safer. A couple inches of dirt on top, dirt and debris. See, that's steaming. Now before I lay on top of that, I'm going to let the rocks cool down some so I don't get scorched. Normally I would get an all-night fire going and then sleep close to that, but I don't have a saw to be able to cut logs big enough to have an all-night fire. Put big logs on, they'll burn for hours. It's heating up already. Oh, that is nice and warm. I feel like a baked potato. This is nice. Whew. Starting to get a little too warm. So this is why you want a moisture barrier. Look underneath of there, is soaked. Put this rain jacket on for extra moisture barrier. Well, I'm going to try and get some sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Turned out to be a nice sunny morning. Ripped my space blanket last night. Still a little warm, so they're still putting out some heat. And this papery birch bark can be hard to ignite with just a spark from a ferro rod. You take it, rub it in between your hands, crush it up. Makes fine pieces. Just going to warm up by the fire for a little bit. Got a little chilly, but rocks kept me fairly warm. Kept me real warm first half of the night. Well, the Altoids tin survival kit was a success, although I definitely don't recommend relying on it, especially not in cold weather. Get some of that. That's a nice one. Let's get out of here. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Join me in my next one.